Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to your most favorite fun Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time live stream in somewhat regarding 3D printing.
What are 3D printing?
What are 3D printing? So I welcome each and every one of you guys for being here. It feels like forever since we have done this.
No, that's weird. I'm not used to actually doing two of these in 1 week, so
I know. Well, I mean, it's been like 3 days since we were live, and
Yep.
to do two streams that close together, it's crazy.
Feels almost redundant. I don't feel like we're gonna be able to top the last one.
No, well, we'll definitely never ever top. I mean, for a midweek stream to begin with, and
Yep.
then the amount of shenanigans that went on and stuff, and of course we want to thank you guys who did make it to the midweek stream this week. God, it was just insane. And then an even bigger thank you to all of the sponsors that offered up the giveaway stuff.
Yep. Thank you very much. It's really hard to do these things without the sponsors. So
absolutely, and huge congrats to everybody that won. Mainly the people that won the printers that we were giving away. That was awesome. You know, when we hit that 150 watcher mark, I mean, that blew my mind.
I think that happens every time you put giveaway in the name of a stream. You know what I mean? But like, at least chat was sort of like, what is it, bumping or whatever. Lots of people chatting, lots of people doing stuff, and we've been assured too the printers should be shipped out in the next 2 weeks. So you guys should be those who won. You should be getting notifications in your email shortly.
Yeah, well, the chat was so hard to follow. I mean, it was just like
go.
Oh my gosh, it was just streaming, and then, you know, of course, huge thanks to the moderators that were present to handle the trolls, because that's
always trolls. Yeah,
that's always fun too. And you know, when it's a typical stream, we can generally handle them ourselves.
We're not usually that popular. There's not usually too much crowd control.
No, but again, you throw a giveaway in the stream name, and suddenly everybody is wanting to troll you. So yeah, unfortunately, something happened with YouTube. That stream did not record. Like, stream within not long, usually within like 20 minutes or so,
pops up as being available. Yeah,
it posts that it publishes it, so you can go back and rewatch it, and it's never come up. So I don't know what happened. I do have an email sent out to YouTube, but I have a feeling they're going to be just like,
I mean, grand scheme of things, most of the conversation ended up being about the stuff we were giving away. So people that missed the stream, going back and rewatching it, you're not going to, you know, there's no new projects or anything that are unveiled. There's nothing that's going to be groundbreaking, but
no, you'll just feel really sorry that you didn't win is all. So Glenn Hogue, the serial killer, is here. I should probably stop saying that, Glenn, because like at some point somebody's going to go, he's a serial killer, and they're going to like try to hunt you down and find out what's up with you. But
he wants you to keep going, because that way he can sue you if anything ever happens.
He seems to think that I'm trolling. Trolling
about what?
Saved it. I'll have to look at that. So
see if we can dig it out of the archives.
Yeah, that was an amazing stream. So all right. There was no midweek stream. None of that happened.
We're not important enough to give away printers.
No, nobody wants to give us anything to give away. That's not true. IC3D is going to give us some filament to give away to you guys. We just haven't ironed out the details yet. But
we haven't crossed our I's or dotted our T's.
No, I have been a lazy slacker. Which I really thought it was just because I was lazy. But, you know, as I told you guys a couple weeks ago, I've been diagnosed now with anemia, and the more the research I do on it, the more it makes sense. And it's such a stupid problem to have. And some days are better than others. Some days I have a decent amount of energy, and other days, like I woke up this morning and was like lots of dizzy spells and stuff, and thought I was going to be just. But I've been drinking Diet Dr. Pepper all day long, so I'm all hyped up on the caffeine.
I turn off my camera for a second. I'm still going to have my headset on. I need to. Somebody contacted me and they need 100 ear protectors, and I just realized that I printed 9, but one got pushed off the bed and it continued the other one, so I don't know how many were successful, but I need to keep that process going. So
Okay, well, I'll just continue to talk. That's okay. I can handle that.
and I can still talk too. You just can't see me.
I'll just drink a little bit more of my Diet Dr. Pepper.
Jeez, it's so weird to be streaming without clothes on.
Coke's not sponsoring us yet, so I thought I'd try the Dr. Pepper, even though there's no logo on this here Lego Batman cup.
I hear that Dr. Pepper makes the world taste better.
I don't know, but I love the fact that Diet Dr. Pepper and regular Dr. Pepper taste exactly the same to me, so I don't feel bad for not getting to drink the stuff with sugar in it. But
I was discussing that with a friend one day. I'm like, Diet Dr. Pepper and regular Dr. Pepper taste exactly the same, which to me isn't fantastic, but you're not giving up anything for one or the other. It's not my favorite drink, but whether I have the diet one or the regular one, there's no difference.
Right, like it doesn't hurt to have to drink the diet one. So
yeah.
Bennett wants to know, he said, please tell me that you guys planned that. We
Planned
did.
what?
We planned it within about 30 seconds over a text chat.
And then a couple of seconds of talking before we went live.
Yeah, and there wasn't. We just totally did that kind of off the cuff. I mean, we knew where we were going, but no, it's my bad because I did say that we would try to squeeze in a midweek stream, and James and I actually talked about it, and he was like, "Yeah, we can do it. It'll have to be after 5," and then I totally dropped the ball. But the problem is by like I get done with work at 4, and by 4:05 I need to go take a nap. I'm just completely wrecked in the afternoons, and until I get all of this under control, I don't know. But with that being said, James will be out of the country next weekend. Well, you're not in Montreal, you're technically out of the country, and so next week I think my wife is going to join me on stream. And I'm not sure what we're going to do yet, but obviously it won't be this format because I won't have a James. But James and I may slide a stream in sometime at the end of the week. So I don't know what night yet, but of course, we'll let you guys know.
Or maybe we won't. Maybe it'll be completely impromptu. It'll just be, hey.
And then if you guys show up, you show up. And if you don't, you miss out on all the great giveaways that we don't have.
And we're not guaranteeing like a 2-hour stream or anything like that. It'll just be to get caught up. It's not like we're trying to make up viewing hours or anything like that. Because
we'll do a stream for like 5 minutes and be like, well, thanks for being here. No, it's
help control the pet population.
Last week was my fault. I really thought that we might make it home in time, but we didn't.
I didn't make it home in time either, though. You got to remember, I was also traveling. I think you and I are talking back and forth. Oh wait, no, the week before.
The week before you were traveling, and the weather was bad, and I told you not to worry about it. We
left, and it was like, okay, we're giving ourselves a half an hour buffer time. I can go back on camera now. Giving ourselves a half an hour buffer time. And I thought it was going to be fine. And then we started hitting bad weather and stuff like that. And I was like pacing like, okay, if we do this speed, I need 15 minutes to set up by the time I get to my parents' place. And I think we were halfway through and I messaged him like, it's going to be dicey. And then we just.
Yeah, no, I didn't want you to put yourself in a situation where you'd get hurt. It just
I mean, I've had a good run.
And technically, yes, I could have streamed by myself, but I kind of felt like crap.
We all know everybody's here for me, so.
Right, but I had already run out of steam by that point and up the stairs. So, but now this past weekend, I actually left my home. I know that's shocking.
That's how you get the Rona.
I haven't really been out in public since February. So, and this was a big deal. We decided to go to the Panhandle. We were on our way home, and I'm just going to tell the end of the story first. We were driving home, and everything was going okay, but I was texting while driving, and
tisk.
I know. And this is what happens when you text and drive.
You're an idiot, Glenn.
Don't text and drive. You should see the other guy.
You're also the other guy. And both guys in this.
I turned out fine. There's nothing wrong with me. Oh, sorry. I bought it that way. I do not text and drive. we drove up to the Panhandle of Florida, about 5.5 hours from here, so I could buy that truck. That truck was hit by an excavator.
It looks like it. It looks every bit like it's been hit by an excavator.
So, as the story goes, apparently the guy running the excavator, who was having a bad day, I said he definitely was after that, swung. And for anybody that's ever been in an excavator or, understands, there's a really bad blind spot in excavators to the opposite side of the box. And he swung and caught the front of the truck. The bucket was on its way up at the time, and it mangled the roof. I'll put that back up if anybody wants to see it. But I bought that truck that was hit by an excavator, as well as I was looking for the right model year, which had to be somewhere between a 96 and 2000 454 big block, and for my other Chevy truck. And I found this one for a whopping $1,000 with the right motor, the right transmission, a perfectly good rear end, which I'll end up selling the rear end because I don't need a 1-ton rear end.
The importance of a perfectly good rear end is not lost on me.
Right.
Butt jokes.
But I did have to drive. I did have to drive 5.5 hours each way to get it.
Uphill both ways.
Yeah. Well, no, only uphill one way, downhill the other, because I was going south.
I just put it in neutral, left the engine off.
Well, the trip up was fairly fine. Some back roads when we were almost to Panama City Beach, and my truck threw a check engine light, which was just a glitch because when I shut it off and started it back up, it was fine and there was no codes behind it. So that was fine. No big issue. On the way home, I had set Google Maps to take me on the back roads. I didn't want to go out on the highway towing this thing. It's heavy. It's about almost 6,000 pounds, which my truck will handle fine. I got a 24,500 pound towing capacity. It's nothing behind there, but it's still driving, 70. It becomes a concern. Plus, I didn't know if parts were going to fly off going down the road. So, David Randolph, shush.
So then I 3D printed something and put it into the broken car. Now continue your story.
No, it's going to be somewhat 3D printing related because I had set the GPS, the Google Maps, to take us to the back way home, which took us like right through Walter from Country 3D, right through his neighborhood, like not far, like 10 minutes from his house. So we were going to stop and have lunch with Walter. So I'm driving, I'm following the GPS. We're going, and all of a sudden it's getting me up onto the interstate. And I realized that Google Maps has taken it upon itself to change my route. And I didn't notice that it changed my route. So anybody that uses Google Maps will know that if it changes the route, it plays a tone like ding, ding, and that's all you get. And it just does it. So it ended up redirecting us away from Walter, which in the long run turned out okay, because when we were about, I want to say it was about an hour from one interstate to the other. So when we were about 3 hours from home, the truck overheated. My truck overheated, not fully, but it was starting to run hot. And I pulled over and had to put 5 gallons of water in it. I've blown a radiator hose, which is not something easy on this truck, nor is it something that you can just run out and buy. So I was stopping. I stopped every hour after that and put water in it until I got it home, as I was towing a 6,000 pound load. So I missed having lunch with Walter.
I thought the story was going to be that. So you unloaded the smashed up truck and it still ran well enough, and you swapped the two of them around, and there's you driving down the interstate in this smashed up truck. I had to leave the kids in the back one.
I'd have to have a motorcycle helmet. There's no windshield in it. So no,
that's so many bugs.
That truck will run. It just, the only damage that it took to the motor was as the excavator grazed the front, It did
Christ.
break. It snapped off the front of the water pump. So they took a garden hose and jammed it into the radiator hose, and were able to start it up. So it does run. But yeah, that's one of my side projects. So it was fun though when I picked it up and I was on my way back to the hotel. Oh, that was the other part of the story too. The truck only cost me $1,000. The vacation cost me twice that. You can see, let me put that picture back up. You can see from the background of that picture that we were just in terrible, terrible area. It was nothing but sand and ocean and and there's Walter there. So I don't know if you caught the story, Walter, but I just told the story on why we didn't get to have lunch with you. But yeah, no, it was a really nice area, but I'm on my way back to the hotel, and I stopped at the auto parts store because I didn't have my trailer tongue lock. And when I pulled in, one of the employees was walking. I said to him, I said, "Hey, do you guys sell like a really good quality rubbing compound that might get that that damage out of the body?" And the guy turns and he looks at my truck at first, and he's like, "Huh," and then looks up and sees that one. And he's like, "Maybe." So, but the guy that I bought it from, he asked me, he said, "How are you planning to get that thing home?" And I said, "Well, I can't drive it." And he's like, "Well, it'll start up and run, but you can't drive it." And I'm like, "No, I have a bigger dually." So, but it'll buff right out. Absolutely. Little elbow grease, clean it right up. So as it sits right now, which it's still on the trailer, I haven't taken it off the trailer yet, but I took the roof of the cab out of the cab and put it in the back of the truck. And then there's also, I don't know if I do this, can you guys see my mouse? Yeah. So this thing's sticking up right off of a newer Chevy truck. And I'm not even sure why it was in there, but it came with it. So I kept it. Yeah. Good times. So, but the looks we got driving down the road with that were absolutely hysterical. I mean, the people staring and laughing and pointing, and the like people, when we were in the parking lot, we had stopped at a pizza place to eat pizza. And as we were getting ready to leave, these people were driving. The guy slows way down and they're just like staring. Priscilla, she said, "You should have painted on the side of it, 'Don't text and drive.'"
I mean, it's not a bad message to push across, regardless of whether or not the context is incorrect.
Right. No, it just makes it look like I'm the idiot that was texting and driving.
You probably caused more incidents because people were probably trying to take pictures of it while you were driving. Like, "Oh, look at this guy's truck."
But it was a really nice weekend to get out. You know, nothing like going from 0 to 60, because I mean, I went from where to going and spending the weekend in a hotel, but the hotel was they were very adamant about, if you were in any of the common areas, you had to have a mask on, which in the pool area, the kids running around and being in the pool near, so like I didn't spend a lot of time in the pools, but overall I think it was good. It was nice to get away. It turned into a 3-day weekend, which was nice to get some time away from work. So, and in fairness, I did 0 3D printing related things.
I went away for a weekend. I brought one of my printers with me and designed a new pie case because I was trying to keep up with my release schedule. And it turns out I faked the entire thing.
Right. Yeah, it was Photoshop. You should tell that story for anybody that didn't hear it. So
for those of you who are subscribed to me, which should be all of you by now, I'm actually demanding it at this point. I feel like I deserve it and I've earned it at this point. So as you guys probably know, I'm doing the design challenge. I'm calling Pie 26 Ways, different pie cases every week from starting 7 weeks ago until the end of the year. And this week's was, I modeled the Atari 2600, which is like the first, well, was it the first Atari console?
The first Atari was a 5200?
No, well, no, the 2600 came before the 5200. I think the Atari, so it was originally called the Atari Video Computer System, the VCS. And then I think it was retroactively branded as the 2600 when they started releasing different versions. So I designed this Atari 2600 one, and it's this guy right here. This is the finished product. And so I finished the video, which is one of my rougher videos. I tossed it together pretty quick. Released the video. I took a picture of it and I dropped it on Reddit, on the Raspberry Pi subreddit. And somebody commented, "This thing is fake AF." I won't go into the word. He used the proper words. Basically saying I photoshopped it. It's not a real 3D printed thing, and then challenged people to put it into Google image search to prove that it was fake. Except for when I posted it, I also posted a link to the video that shows you how I designed it, 3D printed it, then how I assembled it, put it together, and provided a link where you could go download the STLs to print your own. So apparently this is so accurate looking. I mean, it's pretty accurate looking, I guess, right? It looks pretty decent.
Well, the wood grain on the front really,
and I think the texture on the top too, because I use the textured Prusa sheet.
Right.
And I find it really gives it that look that all the old injection molded plastic has. But yeah, somebody accused me of faking it.
Faked it right into your video now. So
let's see. You'd highlighted something from
Brian Vines wants to know where to get them.
So they're on Thingiverse. I'll provide a link to my Thingiverse profile. And everything on my profile is safe for work so far.
Yeah, that's that was.
I don't know. I might get desperate for clicks. I don't have the modeling abilities of Chelsea and Garrett at Chaos Cortex, so I don't think I'll ever get into the organic stuff. But you know.
Yeah, I just can't wrap my head around organic modeling, and I mean, in fairness, I haven't spent a ton of time trying, but.
Where are you? Okay, here's chat. Okay, so there's my models. The other thing is every video that I put up where I show me assembling one of these cases, I put a link to the STL in the description. So yeah, you can do that. I don't actually, I don't remember what I don't have a heavy sixer. I have the light sixer. I thought I had the heavy sixer, and then I went to pick it up the other day and I was wrong. So Atari released and I think somebody's highlighting that it was originally developed under the name CX2600. Is that right? Is the modeling of the Atari 20? Oh, okay. So yeah, which was their first first cartridge-based video game system, and then eventually they started calling it the 2600 to differentiate it from the 5200 and the 7800. I forget where I was going with this story now. Oh well.
I'm paying attention. I'm trying to. I want to screen share in. There's the image that James shared on Reddit.
Which, to be fair, so I took the picture, I adjusted the colors and stuff like that because pictures rarely do stuff justice. And this is the one I used to do the thumbnail. So I trimmed around it and removed the background. So it's on a transparent background. So I understand why, because technically he's correct. The image has been photoshopped to be used in a thumbnail. But his thing, the S word is on there, but it's in an image. It's probably, there you go.
There we go.
It's fake as sit, S-I-T. It's photoshopped. You can see an off-white outline around the console. This is fake as sit. Stop. Edit. Someone placed this into Google image search. I don't know 100% sure what he means by place it into Google image search. Like you can do a reverse image search.
Right. Well, but
I feel like he's implying that he did a reverse image search on it and found that it's fake, but.
Well, what I'm curious is edit. Someone placed this into Google image search. Why don't you place it into Google image? Why does somebody else got to do it for you?
Yep.
You know, like the time that it took him to put that in, he could have
taken the image and reverse image search.
Yeah, and then this RC Riots guy said, but I did an entire YouTube video on how I made it, and I uploaded the model so other people can make their own. The images, you know, you're so much nicer than I am. I'd have been like, bugger off.
I'm too Canadian.
Yeah, you are. You are entirely too Canadian. You need an American marketing manager.
So the only thing I didn't manage to finish for the video is the fact that I actually wanted to turn this into either a Pac-Man or E.T. cartridge because the cartridge is removable. And I knew as soon as I put the video up, somebody's gonna be like, "Hey, why isn't that the micro SD card?" And sure enough, somebody's like, "That better be the micro SD card reader in the top." And so he's like, "Why don't you put a USB stick in?" I'm like, "Because I have a week to design these individual iterations."
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Bennett said, you've made it when someone says it's fake.
Absolutely.
So
I for the first time since some king of fun gave me a shout out, I have 200 subscribers in the past 28 days. I usually average like 30 to 50. So, and I think for the first time in a long time, the last 2 videos I've released, I didn't immediately have somebody unsubscribe from my channel after releasing it. That being said, so here's the thing. I've been analyzing the statistics on my channel, not to get into the YouTube algorithm stuff or whatever, but I looked at how many views I was getting per video per day type thing when I had 1,500 subscribers. And now that I'm over 3,000 and the view count has not changed. By and large, my channel has more views, but it seems to be more distributed to the fact that I have more videos for people to watch. But like the initial, I release a video, how many people watch it after, like from my subscriber base and stuff like that. When I was at 1,500, I'd get about 80 to 100 views. And now that I am at over 3,000, I get 50 to 100 views unless I put the video up elsewhere. So I've actually taken to, so I can get pure statistics, I'll wait 12 to 24 hours before posting the video on like Facebook or Reddit or whatever, just to see how many I get organically.
Sorry, Tom Llama has sent me a gift box, and I was trying to figure out a good time to open it. And then the Sunday that I was going to open it was the day that he still didn't have any electricity because of the storm. So I didn't want to do it while he wasn't here. And now he's harassing me incessantly. Get the box. Get the box. I just got to make sure all the identifying information is off the box.
How very polite of you. You don't want to not DDoS. What's it called when you put out somebody's ad? Docs. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to dox him for opening the box.
I appreciate the fact that that Glenn with one N has been putting out the information as to why there's like the heavy sixer and the light sixer and stuff like that, providing that information about the classification of the original Atari as an electronic device.
That's a lot of information to know about an Atari 2600, but I mean, what more could you expect from a serial killer? They're very detailed.
I thought we said we weren't going to call him a serial killer.
Oh yeah, that's right. Well, he's got to put another N in his name.
Allegedly.
So Tom is saying that. I lost the kids might be more interested in this than me. Unfortunately, I don't know if this kid will come over here. The other one's down with his friend. You want to come over here?
Playing video games?
I can get the big teenage one over here. We're gonna open this here box that came from Tom Llama.
Come on, Xander, it's free things.
Show everybody your pajama pants. Oh, they're below the table. Nobody can see them. Nobody can see your Dora the Explorer pants.
Dora and Diego.
Bennett said maybe we should switch to calling him a murderer. No, again, it came from the show.
Superstore.
Superstore.
Which I didn't catch the first few times, and then Kay and I watched it, and I sent Glenn a clip of the guy saying it. That's Glenn with one N, like some sort of serial killer. That guy's Canadian. He used to be on a show called was it Kids in the Hall? Or This Hour is 22 Minutes?
I didn't realize he was on Kids in the Hall.
It was either Kids in the Hall or I'm gonna go look it up, or This Hour is 22 Minutes. But I think it was Kids in the Hall.
I'm only crushing your head.
Crushing your head.
So immediately, you can go ahead and take it out. Immediately, that's laying on the top. Here, you can put it. It's a Pumpkin King Pez dispenser.
That's pretty fancy.
And then he included the most important thing. a bag of Pez. And then we have a packaged Pez. I have to figure out how you pulled that off, Tom. A packaged Pez. Fun King Pez dispenser. What must have been the Carnage.
The original?
Must have been, yeah. And then the Fun King. Oh, yeah, more Carnage. More.
So, yeah, Mark McKinney was in Kids in the Hall.
Tom, these prints are so smooth.
Bye, Freddie.
Oh, bye, Freddie. Thanks for being here. And then another one. Oh, it's got tape on it. That's how he did it. Sneaky, sneaky. A Fun King Pez dispenser.
Careful how fast you say that.
Gotta love them Fun King Pez dispensers. Well, he sent it to family of Fun King.
In glorious 3 dimensions.
Oh, and then this one. Oh. That's good quality YouTube right there. Thank you, Tom. That is awesome. Are you just going to eat the candy? That's not the way. You have to load it up and eat it.
So I do have one new project I can show off. I don't remember if I've shown it on here or not, though, but I just feel like I should have something to show. So I'm going to turn off my camera for a second while I set up my Fusion 360 view again.
Okay, I'm just reading the letter from Tom, but I'm not going to read it out loud in case it says something that...
Dear Glenn, I love you so much. Please run away with me to paradise.
To the dearest Fun King, I know you're amazing and you can do whatever you want because you're the Fun King.
You're the Fun King best.
Nobody is Fun Kingier than you. It's a very common statement around this house that when Zach gets on me for doing something, I just say, well, I'm the Fun King. I can do whatever I want. So that's become a really common statement around this house. But thank you, Tom. That was really awesome. I'm glad that I finally got to open it. I'm also glad that nothing in there was perishable because it's been sitting in that box. So, but yeah, he was telling me that, he was like, hey, you haven't done a Mailbag Monday in a while, but I don't know if I want to beat that dead horse any longer. And it's not that it wasn't fun. It was a great deal of fun. The videos never really got that many views, and I ended up with so much extra 3D printed stuff laying around that I didn't need. I never realized that you could just pop the heads off of a Pez dispenser, though. It's pretty good to know.
Okay, so I'm going to turn my camera back on.
Okay.
And it's going to immediately pop up. I'm not actually even in the image anymore, really, but this is something I've been working on for a while. And I've been procrastinating on actually printing it because this is a 1-to-1 recreation of the Mac Classic or like the Mac 2. So it's the original Macintosh. Obviously, I haven't put the model of the floppy drive into it yet, but this isn't like it is. So this would be under my Pi cases, but this isn't the size of a Pi. This is actually full sized. So the original Mac had a 9-inch screen. This takes a 9-inch screen. As you can imagine, there's going to be a fair amount of empty space in here. And I was really excited. This is what I ordered that filament through Chris Riley for. And then when I finished modeling, I went to print it. It was like, it's going to use the entire 2 kilograms. I'm like not going to have any fallback if anything goes wrong. So now I'm kind of hesitant to actually print it because I can't really afford for it to go wrong. Yeah, so if any of you are familiar with the old Mac, and this was also based on the caveat that I could get a Pi to run the old version of, so before it was Mac OS, it was just called System, right? So it was Macintosh System 7, System 8, that type of stuff. And it looks like there's a couple of ways to get a Pi to run and emulate it, but I haven't found one that does everything I want it to yet. So This is only going to happen if I can 100% build it so that it works exactly like the original Mac did.
Glenn Hogue said that he still has a classic Mac. He'd have to check the model on it.
So I owned one, and I left it at my parents' place, and it ended up in the garbage.
Oh, that's sad.
So then I went to buy one just for nostalgia's sake, and they were pretty expensive. So I just kind of decided, yeah. So I'm just going to build my own.
That's pretty awesome.
It comes out to being pretty close. Like I think if it prints nicely, it's gonna like nobody will be able to confuse it with the actual original. But I even put the handle in.
Well, yeah, you gotta be able to carry it.
Yep, got to be able to carry it on, my wayward son. And you just got copyright flagged.
But you didn't sing it, so we're okay. So I do want to touch back on this for a minute because Tom made a comment in there that I didn't pick up on. Oh, the bag split on this. I'm gonna open it so that you guys can see this better. Except for the important parts not coming out. This is the Fun Queen. Is that not? There we go. Look,
that's cute.
He gave her eyelashes and hair.
That's adorable.
Oh, that's so funny. I didn't even notice it at first, and then he said something. I looked at it, and I'm like, yeah, it does have like a different face, and then I realized what he did. Gave it hair.
So Christopher Maschek says split the case into parts to print it. It is in fact split into parts. The other thing I've been debating, okay, so like there's the front bezel, there's the rear compartment, there's the lower compartment. The other thing I've been debating is that there's going to be, so like my goal is to do a one-to-one recreation of it. But there's going to be a bunch of wasted space in the case towards the back. So I'm wondering if I thin it out a bit. I make it only half as deep as it's supposed to be. But then I feel like, why am I doing it if I'm not going all the way with it?
Right. It almost feels a little cheaty.
Yeah. So I don't know. And I'm making it so that there's a tray in the back so that if I want to change the electronics in it for something else later on, rather than having to reprint the case, it's reprint the tray with, whatever setup I want. So,
right. Well, what if you modeled it fully like that, but then also modeled an option that was streamlined as far as for printing?
Yeah, cut it down a little bit.
If somebody else chose that they didn't want to use that much filament.
Wee! Look at it go. This is the rest of the video.
Yeah, that's it. We're just going to, let's just full screen that. But yeah, you have to cater to all the people all the time. Don't you know that?
I do get a lot of messages, and not as a complaint. I fully appreciate anybody asking me for modifications. Like, I still owe Tristan modifications that I just haven't had time to do. I'm barely keeping up with my own stuff right now. That is 100% the case.
Today, is he? I don't think Tristan's here today.
I'm not sure.
He doesn't like us anymore because you haven't done for him what you're supposed to.
Could I do a version with a 3.5-inch screen? If I have a 3.5-inch screen, I'm happy to do it. That's the other snag too. So I get lots of people that ask me for modifications to my designs for specific stuff they want or for specific electronics. And when it comes down to it, I don't make nearly enough off of YouTube to pay for all the electronics people want me to feature on the thing. And it's a chicken and the egg thing, because if you get to the point where you've got enough money that you can just buy whatever and feature videos on it, you can get tons of views because you're constantly bringing in stuff people want. But for me, it's a lot of playing with what I've already got. So like the 8.9-inch screen that I'm using for that Mac Classic is the same screen I use for my Ready Printer 1 miniatures. So repurposed electronics. I don't know if I have a 3.5-inch screen. So I have one of the touchscreen module ones where it snaps onto the front of the Pi. But the issue with that is that you can't get proper cooling on the Pi because it's blocking off, like you can put a heatsink on it, and then you can put maybe a fan blowing through it, but you can't put a fan directly over the board anymore because your screen is now on top of it. So I went off on like 16 tangents there.
That was a lot of tangents very quickly.
Yep.
You could have saved them and used up more time. I mean, we're only 43 minutes into the stream.
Okay, well, as always, this has been the Sunday stream.
Oh, thank you and good night. If you guys don't want to talk about car stuff now, then I got nothing.
Yep. I spent, and here's the thing, the Atari video cost me like well, sorry, it ended up costing me almost $100 to produce. But the reason for that is when I built if you didn't see it, the Ghostbusters building, I'll pull that out here because I haven't featured that on a stream. This is the Ghostbusters fire hall that I designed and
That's
printed.
so amazing.
Which I think I like, not tooting my own horn, although I am getting a little bit better because people are like, there's nothing wrong with being proud with the stuff you do.
No, I mean, that turned out amazing.
So I'm going to put the power to it.
Alan King said that's fake, that you're photoshopping that in there.
I am. It's true.
It's a deep fake.
So I can't turn off the light to show, but essentially I've got one of the ice tower coolers, which has RGB on the fan. So as it lights up and it changes colors, it kind of looks like there's like experiments going on inside the building, which is one of the things I wanted to feature. But it ended up being a bit of a pain in the butt to actually put it together because of how tight the quarters are for working with the wiring and stuff in there, or the screws. So when I finished it, I didn't want to take the pie out of it. So I ended up having to buy another pie, right? Because that's the thing too. Somebody messaged me, he's like, what do you need? What do you need all these pies for? I'm like, I don't have all of these pies. It's me reusing the same pie week after week.
Right.
And so he's like, what do you need all these cases for? I'm like, I don't. This is for you guys. But so I ended up spending $50 on another Pi 4, and I got the lowest tier one because again, it's just so I have something to test fit my cases. It's not like it's going to see a lot of use. But so $50 on that, and I spent $30 on the tack board. Save some pie for later. Hey, I've been rationing. It's only one pie a week. I spent $30 on this wood grain contact paper to cut out a piece. Well, here, this big.
Yeah.
So I need more wood grain stuff, I guess.
Well, now what you got to do is you got to cut it a little big, and then offer it up for sale for the people who want to print the case.
I immediately had people reaching out to me on Reddit and on YouTube asking if I could open up a store, build these, and then sell them. I'm very hesitant to do it because I don't want Atari coming after me. Because they're already desperate for cash.
You just sell a little piece of that wood grain, cut a bunch of them a little big so they can trim them off themselves. Because it could be sent in an envelope. There's no shipping.
Sell it for $1 a piece and it's properly sized.
Right, and then
two so you have a backup one. Sell them for two of them for $1 or whatever, and then the cost of the envelope.
Right. So you'll make your money back. It's better than everybody having to go out and spend $30 on a roll of contact paper that nobody will ever use.
I need to do a Glenn's new truck pie case.
Yeah, could you model Daisy? That's her name, by the way, Daisy.
Daisy.
Just because she's so beautiful. I have to show it again for anybody that didn't see it.
Yep.
Cracks me up every time I look out the window. It's parked right directly with my back door, so I can see it all day long just looking out the back door. And the cab is actually full of dirt, and I just realized today that dirt was likely the dirt that was in the excavator bucket.
Hey, that's all value add, though. You got that for free.
I did. Totally free. Well, what was really crazy was the back of the truck was full of scrap metal. It was actually like an old tin shed that was all balled up back there. And there was a mini excavator bucket. And by mini, I mean like an 18-inch or 18-inch excavator bucket in the back of the truck. And the guy was like, well, do you want to keep that? And I'm like, no, I really don't. I should have. It was in good shape. I probably could have made a few bucks. I should have kept it just as a trophy piece, being an excavator bucket, and that's what wiped the truck out. But
I just realized I preheated my Mark III like 20 minutes ago.
Oh yeah, did it go into timeout?
Yeah. I was like, oh, but here's the thing. So I guess maybe it turned off not too long ago because I'm like, now it's showing that it's still at 55 degrees after hitting the stop button, but it takes a while for the bed to drop by 5 degrees.
Brian said he'd spend $2 for a piece of that.
Oh, there you go. Well, contact me after the show. We'll get it sent out.
Contact you?
I totally did that on purpose, Eli.
Hello, Paul Cumber.
Cucumber's cool, but not as cool as cucumber.
Cool as a Paulcumber.
Uh,
Oh.
how are you, Paul? I hurt my foot yesterday. So on the back of my phone, I got one of these pop sockets or whatever, right? These are, so you got something to hold your phone?
Yep. Yeah, mine's kind of built in.
Yeah. Oh, nice. That's an OtterBox?
No, it's just a.
It's a Notter. It's a ripoff. It's a Notterbox.
It was like $7 or something, and it's got a little ring that pops up, and then this is metal, which works with those magnetic phone brackets.
Nice.
Okay, sorry, didn't mean to derail your story.
Your printer does not support the M114 command.
Well, don't send the M114 command then.
That's rude. I also have this weird bug. After I restart my Octoprint run, it'll print okay for 2 or 3 prints, and then all of a sudden it starts firing that the prints that I'm trying to print don't fit within the bed size. And then I can go ahead and tell it to print it anyways, and it does it.
Interesting.
So I don't know. I think I'm just going to wipe the card and start again. Okay, so I was getting out of the car the other day, and I'm holding my phone like this, and I caught the door, and it popped, and basically it ripped, like you can pull the socket out. So it pulled the nub out of the part that's double-sided taped on, and this fell straight down and landed on the corner of my foot. Sorry, the corner of this landed on the top of my foot, and it landed right on top of one of the tendons. And I've got a bruise that goes from one side of my foot to the other where it hit, except for there's no bruise where the tendon is.
Oh,
So it's like bruise. But anyways, I don't know if you guys have ever had a Charlie horse in your toes, like where your toes feel like they're too cold and they're doing this.
mm-hmm.
It's the tendon that it hit, that the one that the toe it's connected to feels like it's got a Charlie horse in it 24/7 right now.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah. So
Oof.
I'm still alive, but at what cost?
Yeah, I had an old cable box up in a closet one time, and I was digging for something up there, and the cable box fell right on the top of my foot and broke like 2 bones in my foot. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good old day. So I have not 3D printed anything. I know this is going to come as a surprise, but I have not 3D printed anything in weeks. In fact, when I was working on my Prusa on the stream, that's the last time I touched it. I have not even recalibrated it yet. So, but it's mainly just because I can't really think of any projects that I want to do right now that isn't just more random crap to sit around my house.
Which is the boat I'm in. I think a lot of the cases that I've designed and printed will come with me to like the next event I go to, and people can have them.
Yeah, well, that's what I've been doing with all this stuff is like Maker Faire. And Xander was getting mad at me because like kids would come up and they pick something up and they go, "I really like this." I go, "You can have that." And he's like, "No." And I'm like, "What are you talking about? I got a machine at home that'll make as many as we want."
It's like, if you miss it, I'll build you another one.
Right. So, and then, I mean, there's certain things that I would never give away, and there's certain things that he won't let me give away. You know, like, I mean, his robot and that kind of, it's all still in storage. It's still in storage from last November, if that tells you anything.
Hey, the floating shelf that you have behind you above your printers, is that one of those IKEA ones that
It is.
I've got 2 of those. Well, here you can see this one here.
Yep.
I think it's the same thing where you put the metal thing on the wall and then it slides over top of it.
Yep.
Yeah, I bought 2 things around the same time, and so it's got the 3 torque or 3 hex screws that go in from underneath to lock it into place once it's in.
Right.
I bought 2 things, and each of them came with 3 of those bolts, except for one of them. The bolt is 2 millimeters longer than the ones that came with this, and they were in the same packaging.
Ooh.
So I grabbed the wrong one. I started screwing it, popped right through the top. And
right through the top. Yeah, it's just cardboard is all it is. So
it is. It's well structured cardboard. Like, it's not super strong, but it does a good job for what it is.
Yeah. Bennett said I should an RC buggy. The problem with that is then I would have to buy all of the stuff that goes with it. And right now, all of my money is being channeled to projects in the garage, which could spark a whole different YouTube channel in the long run. But and I actually have quite a bit of RC stuff already that's not 3D printed. Now, Xander and I do need to get our butts in gear because 3D Fuel sponsored his Oh, Bennett will know what the name of it is. That Nerf gun that we bought from Earth. He'll know what it is. Xander knows what it is too, but he's not sitting here. But so we need to get that printed as well. But I don't know.
Oh, is that project something?
No, it's not the FDL. It's
Okay.
Caliburn. There you go. I knew Bennett would know because he built one. No, at the time, the FDL didn't have any more motors hanging out, but they didn't have supplies anymore. And of course, now they're back around. So I still want to build one of those because they're amazing. But I bought Xander like the biggest, most powerful Caliburn. So Bennett said mine's curling broken and I'm too cheap to fix it. So, but I don't know. We need to get going with that. I know that I need to get going with the big benchy. The problem is I really need to put a
UPS.
Properly sized UPS on the FK1, and right now I don't want to spend the money on it. So,
do you have any UPSs in the house right now that aren't in use?
No.
Okay, because I was gonna say my thing would be to put masking tape over the bed, and then print it without the heated bed on, and then you could run.
I've actually considered rewiring it where the bed gets its own power. So.
So here's the thing. So I, because this is relevant, I did some work on a Modex Big. I remember. I gotta go look up the name of the printer. Hold on a second. Big 60, which is a 60 centimeter by 60 centimeter by I think 60 centimeter tall printer.
Okay.
And it has separate power for the bed and for the rest of the electronics, so you can plug it into two separate circuits.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm thinking. And I mean, I could even get fancy and put a switch on it where you could flip the switch one way and it would share power, and then you could flip it the other way and it would use its own power for the bed. Because the thing is when I go to certain show venues, they don't necessarily have the power requirements that I need.
Yep.
And to be able to go to two different circuits would be very handy. But yeah, you're right. I'd still have to put masking tape down because if the bed cooled down,
it would detach for sure.
Yeah. Now we don't generally lose power for length of time, and up until this year, we didn't generally lose power at all. But this year has been really bad. I mean, the Florida rainstorms in the afternoon are horrific anyway. But for whatever reason, this year we've been having a lot of power issues where I am. So I definitely don't want to run into that being a problem. I mean, I can't imagine being, 15 hours into the print or whatever and having it poop out, or 3 days into the print and having it poop out. So
that's like, do you remember when Chris built the hang printer?
Right.
And he did the 7-day print and it was 3D printing a bar stool.
Yep.
And it failed. Right, it failed almost halfway through, 3/4 of the way through. I felt so bad for him because I'm like, that's wasted time, it's wasted filament, and it's disappointing.
Oh yeah,
like,
it's a gut punch for sure.
Oh, did you see the? So I did a tutorial on how to design your own Raspberry Pi case, and these are the colors I went with for the printed version of the case. It's like going back to the 80s, might as well.
That's right. Well, that's like early 90s, wasn't it? Isn't that?
Yeah, that's about that time. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's pretty funky.
I actually in the early 90s, I had an automotive customizing shop, and that's the colors we painted the building were teal and purple.
Nice.
Oh, the town went nuts. They just couldn't believe that we painted that building that color.
Oh,
we're
well.
like, oh, we're trying to get attention, And in fact, it came from the girl that I was dating at the time. I was in business with her dad, and she had a hairbrush that was that color. And we're like, that's it. That's the combination right there. Took it down to the paint store and had to mix it up. There's a little side story for you. So, but
who said we're out of things to talk about?
Yeah.
Oh wait, that was you.
Somehow I'll bring it back around to 3D printing. No, like I haven't touched the FK1 again in so long that I've kind of forgotten where I left off and what needs to be done. And luckily I use Trello to kind of keep track of all of that. So I can, I think my bed leveling is spot on. I think the whole automated bed leveling is working absolutely perfectly, or at least as close as I can get. It's a long procedure, so I generally don't shut that thing off unless I'm not going to use it for a while. But the actual bed leveling itself is quick. It does it 3 times. It only takes like a minute or so each time, each set of probing. But then when it does the bed probing, it's like 96 points on the bed. So that takes a little bit of time.
Yeah, I think on the Modex it took like 10 to 15 minutes to do all of them.
Yeah. I don't remember. I think it's only like about 8 minutes plus the bed leveling. So probably 10, 12 minutes overall. But and then I just leave it run because then it never changes. But the bed, like and I don't know if it's an inconsistency with the BL Touch or what it is, but like I can probe a spot and get a reading, and then I can shut the printer off, turn it back on, re-level it, and probe that spot, and it's different. And it's not by much. It might be like 0.02 millimeters off, and maybe I'm being 0.02. Maybe I'm being a little too critical of it. Maybe that much precision isn't really necessary, but I'm a little OCD. So, hello, Chris Lane. But yeah, I think I've got most of that done. It's working really well. I do need to run more tests to make sure that the wiring harness for the extruder is going to be more durable now that I have it in store-bought cable chain.
Right.
It didn't seem to work well in home printed cable chain, and I think what it is I made it bend to a radius that I needed. I didn't make it bend to a radius that is good for wire.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm
So
saying?
you're like, oh yeah, you started off with a preconceived notion of what you needed it to do, and then you're like, well, this is just what it's going to be.
Right. I went into CAD. I said, okay, well, from this point, which is where it's going to be, I need to be able to turn that around in 40 millimeters. I'll just make this the angle.
Yep.
I talked to one of the sales representatives from IGUS when I was at Orlando Maker Faire. Good guy, can't remember his name, but I suck with names anyway. And he was actually at the house and check it out and give me some, which may still happen, give me some ideas and product lineup that I could use. But I ended up using, and I just had it here, and I don't know what I did with it. I ended up using just a cheapie that I bought off of Amazon. Don't tell IGUS that I'm using cheapie stuff when they were so nice to me. And it was actually not, it wasn't much wider. I think it was only like 3 millimeters wider, but just overall, it's so much smoother. So, and it takes forever to print all the pieces for cable chain. So I'm not ever printing my own cable chain again. So part of the next iteration on the FK1 will be making mounts for all store-bought cable chain. So that's fun.
King.
That's it. That's all I got. Good night, folks.
Good night, everybody.
Until next time, print on. No, I am thinking about mounting a camera in my garage. And I don't know if I'm going to just go up on the ceiling looking down or on one side looking out and possibly running a secondary channel of some of my welding adventures and car adventures. And just because I'm starting to get back into the garage now.
I don't know. So I started a secondary channel with the idea of doing old computers and electronics and stuff like that. And then I posted one video and haven't touched it in 2 years, but that's neither here nor there. Managing 2 channels. Well, I guess you'd be managing 3 channels. Oh no, Xander's been doing his own stuff, right?
Yeah, no, Xander runs his 100%, even though he hasn't really been doing anything.
It's 100% failure, but it's all his.
Right. No, that's it.
I don't know. I think you could probably put both. You can turn your channel into a maker channel versus specifically 3D printing.
Well, and that was a thought that I had too, because I mean, we named it Fun King 3D, but welding is 3-dimensional. Working on cars is 3-dimensional. It's all making.
I think it all comes to how you title, like how the captions you put on your video, so that people who are subscribed to it know which video they're watching beforehand. So it's not like, am I clicking on this to see something 3D printed or whatever? And then when you get bleed over, you don't have to worry about which channel to put on, because like there will likely be stuff that comes out. You're like, well, I need this for this truck, so I'm just going to model something quickly in CAD and 3D print it. And put it
absolutely,
on.
There'll be a lot when it comes to doing the interior and stuff in the truck. There's going to be a lot of 3D printing involved. So.
Yeah.
Welding Adventures, looking forward to the burn.
So that's my 2 cents, which is 2 cents Canadian. So it's like $1.20 or like 1.3 cents US.
Right. But, but I know that as easy as once I start those projects that I can throw a few videos up online and see how people react to them. So I don't know. We'll see. Because I know that I told you guys I've been working on a design for a new car trailer, and I'm really close to wanting to pull the trigger. I would have probably already done it if it hadn't been for steel prices going up so bad through all of this pandemic garbage. Stupid coronavirus. No offense to those people out there that enjoy the coronavirus. I just had to throw that in there. Yeah, steel prices. Unless if you're scrapping steel, those prices are way down. If you're buying steel, those prices are way up. So, but so we'll see. I don't know. It's not that I need a new car trailer. I mean, my old one, which is featured here in this picture. This picture here. It looks a little ragged and it needs a paint job and a new deck, but it's a really good trailer. It's been really good to me, and I didn't pay much for it. And in fact, with current prices the way they are, I'll be able to put a paint job on it and a deck and sell it for more than I originally paid for it. That's how much trailer prices have gone up. And I've had that thing for 12, 13 years now. So, how do we get back around to cars again? Woo!
You're just obsessed.
I'm going to 3D print myself a new trailer.
Car King 3D.
So, well, I've been working on my truck project for about 25 years, and it comes and goes. Like I will have times where I don't touch it for years, and then something will happen and it'll get the ball rolling again, and that's where I am right now. The ball's rolling. Now I got a 454 to put in it. Just purely bragging rights, because you can actually get quite a bit more horsepower out of a LS based small block, but that's okay.
So what about you guys in chat? What did you 3D print this past 2-3 weeks?
Well, yeah, it would have been 3 weeks ago that we were here.
3 weeks ago, and that was when we were actually pushing to try and get me to 3,000 subscribers. I came in at like 6 short or something like that, and we pushed it over by 1. See, begging for subscribers works.
Sometimes it does.
Yep.
Sometimes it just annoys people.
Now I'm well on my way to 4,000. So
you know what's really irking me lately about YouTube though is these stupid advertisements they keep playing. Thank you to everybody who watches my advertisements, but these videos where people are putting them in the middle. I was watching a video the other day, and it wasn't even 2 minutes into the video before it played the first commercial.
So they recently changed it. So it used to have to be, you used to have a 10-minute video to get mid-roll ads or mid-video ads. They've recently changed it to 8 minutes, and it automatically inserts them at points where there's silence in your video. So it'll pick 2 points arbitrarily where it thinks it's a logical break in the video and put them in.
Yeah, but it never is. It's always like the guy will be like, well, all right, so I'm going to show you how to put this piece in. Ad. And you're like, no, I needed to know that. Now I got to find out about auto insurance.
I think Sean Butler is my biggest fan. I think he's 3D printed almost every pie case that I've designed so far.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
There's no prize for that, Sean.
Not yet.
The prize is you get to own all the cases that James designed.
Hey, that's a pretty good prize. And all it costs you is whatever filament it took to get it to work.
Right. Chris Lane said, more parts for the next core. I had to order a bigger frame, and it's coming back together again. Should be up and running soon. I can't wait to see that, Chris.
Ever since I got my
system for the shield guard, just for fun, using a servo and a tiny 85. Now, does it wipe on the outside or the inside? So, like, if you sneeze, can you just have it like wipe the inside?
it probably wouldn't be a big deal to have. So picture this: an arm coming off the servo, and then it's got a wiper blade on the inside and the outside, and you can do both sides.
Just like...
Unless you want to be able to switch between which one's wiping, but.
I hope that you have intermittent option on that. You know, my car can detect when raindrops are on the windshield and turns on the wipers automatically. Work on
Saves
that.
you 2 seconds.
I told James if he designed them, I'd print them. It would be
true.
careful.
He did say that.
He might come out with something crazy. No, he said outside. So if somebody else sneezes on you,
you can get rid of it. Oh, you know what I'm gonna do now? Episode 8 is just gonna be me. Here's a Raspberry Pi case I designed. Ready, printer 1. $600 worth of filament, and Sean's gonna print it.
Bennett says he's currently working on an open RCF1 car. Been trying out new filament, playing with big nozzles, mainly a 1mm and TPU. At the same time, 1mm and TPU, or 1mm and also TPU. Tony Ryan said 3 weeks ago he was a lot younger.
So I'm watching chat in StreamYard, and it's like it's like 10 seconds behind. So you're reading off stuff that I haven't seen yet.
Yeah, it's a good way to go back to see what you've missed, and then you can go and catch up with the.
I feel like I sent them to you at some point, Sean. They're on my Patreon. Sean's one of my supporters on Patreon, so.
1mm and TPU at the same time. That's
ultimate flexibility.
That's.
I feel bad for all my other printers. I haven't been using them at all since I got my Prusa.
Right? That's what happens. No, I don't run anything but PETG through my Prusa anymore.
I still have issues with PETG on and off, but it's getting better, I guess. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a terrible person.
Well, you know, it's really funny because every once in a while I fall victim to the 3D printing Facebook groups, and somebody will say something like, you know, I'm trying to print PETG and I just can't get it to work. And, you know, knock on horribly simulated wood, I've just never had that problem. PETG and I just have always gotten along, and it kills me when other people are having issues, because I'm like, why? I don't know. It's because I don't have any clue what I'm doing, and it just works for me.
It just works out for you.
Yeah. So, yeah, 24/7 Hinky said tried PETG, failed as well. King said PETG, good for me.
The 2600 case is PETG because I couldn't get PLA to stick to that textured sheet reliably enough since there's so much flat space, and I really wanted the texture on the printed parts. So this is IC3D PETG.
Terrible stuff. Terrible stuff.
This is IC3D PETG that they sent me over 2 years ago when I was building a project for them for one of their displays. And it's not been sealed up. It's not been in a waterproof bag. You know, it's just been sitting in the basement, and it printed pretty well.
Chris Lane said, just don't print PETG directly on glass with nothing between, especially on a $38,000 printer.
Was that Joel that did that?
Recently, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No, definitely. Now, if you're going to print PETG on glass, the secret is, and I don't have it sitting here, Meguiar's, specifically Meguiar's, because automotive window cleaner. And it smells nice. No sponsor. Just works.
So somebody told me I should start treating my textured PEI sheet with Windex in between prints on PETG, and it'll stick better. And I will say that I did it once with this, and it stuck perfectly.
Huh.
Because
Yeah, I
I've
always
been using
thought,
isopropyl alcohol in between cleans, and somebody said that in their experience with that texture treat, alcohol more moved things around than it did to remove them. So
Interesting. Yeah, because I always understood the window cleaner to be more of a release agent so that it didn't bond as well.
oh.
I don't know.
It was pretty interesting. So that printed, I'm saying down here, and all of a sudden, like after it's finished, I just, and you hear the little pops and stuff as it detaches.
Yeah, as it comes off.
Yeah. Nothing better in the world than that.
Sounds like a good idea for a video to test those theories. And now that I've said that, Chris Riley will have it out next week.
Yeah, that Chris Riley.
Uh,
The number of times I've had to message him and be like, can you back me up so that when I tell people that I was doing this before you did it? And then I scrapped the videos anyways because I watch his videos. I'm like, I'm not going to do any better than this.
that's it. I mean, there's no reason even to make videos anymore because Chris Riley's going to do it or already did it.
Yep. I'm waiting for him to come up with pie.
Sorry, go ahead.
I'm waiting for him to come up with pie 26 ways, and his things to be like, I set out to challenge myself to design 26 pie cases in 26 hours. Why 26? It's just a number I pulled out of the air.
Tom Sandlander does not recommend pineapple juice as a bed adhesive.
And pineapple, apple pen.
That would be a good Patreon thing. Take requests about printing tests after you contribute a certain amount. I will take ideas from people even without them paying me. Yes, because my ideas all suck.
Not all of them, just the ones that you've told everybody so far.
Right. Yeah, I keep all the good ones to myself.
It's like that episode of Seinfeld where Elaine runs into the bizarro versions of Jerry, George, and Kramer.
Yeah.
And Kramer, the fake version of Kramer is like, what if I designed a clock that when the alarm goes off after a minute, it immediately reads off like the weather forecast and the stuff for the day. And she goes, that's really a really good idea. And he's like, no, it's a terrible idea. I don't know what I was thinking. And it's like every time Kramer comes up with a terrible idea, he does it. And this guy comes up with something that would be legitimately helpful. He's like, no, it's a bad idea.
Print a pie case shaped like a cake.
Okay, I'm going to tell you guys now. One of the pie cases that I have designed is shaped like a pie. So it's the Raspberry Pi pie.
Oh, that's funny. And you said that you made the front page of the Raspberry Pi
Subreddit.
subreddit.
So that's the second time. So here's the thing. Somebody posted a picture 6 years ago, and it was from 1942, and it was a bunker that was full of the tanks and stuff or whatever. And they said this picture was taken in 1942, and the resolution is amazing. And it was this really detailed, really well shot photo, and it's been really well preserved. And you wouldn't believe that it wasn't a modern photo. So I turned around and took a screenshot from the video game 1942 and posted it when that was on, because it was the top post on Reddit with, this image was taken in 1942. The resolution is amazing. And it got 2,200 upvotes, which was a big deal back then. And it made the front page. For 6 years, that has stood as my single most popular post on Reddit. I posted the folding Raspberry Pi case. It got close. It got to like 2.2 or so. Anyways, it ended up a few hundred votes short. And this is the one that, that was the other thing that happened since the last time we talked. I ended up being featured, the design ended up being featured in Tom's Hardware.
Yeah.
That was a big deal for me. So for the first time in 6 years, this is now my most popular Reddit post by several hundred upvotes.
I don't know if I've ever even posted on Reddit. I know I have an account because when I started Fun King 3D, I went and registered accounts everywhere.
Yep, I have a subreddit, the Print and Play YouTube subreddit over there that I occasionally post links to my videos in.
No,
it was more to secure the stuff before somebody else did. You know,
Alan still says that's fake.
It is fake. It's true. I'm actually just holding a box. Like here, I gotta wait. I gotta wait for the software to lock on. Oh, there. There, we got it.
Perfect. Yes.
Yeah, and then just disappeared. Oh, it's gone.
Matt has joined us. Jake from State
It's
Farm.
seamless.
Hey. Tom Llama made you this.
Hey, it's Grisilla.
Do you realize what it is?
It's a penis dispenser.
Yeah, but look at the face.
It's fun.
No, it isn't.
It's not.
Here. We're both equally blind. She has eyelashes and
It's
hair.
a girl. Oh my gosh.
It's the Fun Queen.
Oh, that's awesome. I love it.
Apparently the Fun King wasn't gender neutral enough.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, so Tom made Big Fun King and a Pumpkin King, and
Well, wait, and
they're in packages,
how
yeah.
did that? He managed
He's real
that?
Wow.
Wow,
Yeah.
I'm impressed.
Can I have my glasses back? I can't
No.
see anything.
Okay.
Yeah, he sent an extra head.
That is so cool. I love it.
Oh, that one too.
Oh, that's adorable.
But I had to put him up there by the other pumpkin.
Yeah.
That's a much nicer
I'm keeping
orange,
this
Tom.
one.
What orange is that one? That's way more vibrant than the old Pumpkin King. Did you want some candy to go with it?
I do.
These are the ones that came out of your
Awesome.
package.
Thank you.
I had to take it out so I could see the.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Kayleen also wants me to send my love to Grisilla, or her love to Grisilla.
I love you.
Hopefully she's paying attention upstairs. She's like, make sure you say hi to Grisilla. Send her my love.
So I don't know if this is going to come across on here. You can kind of see.
Oh,
But
yeah. Look at how much of a vibrant that is.
yeah, the old Pumpkin King is a little bit more pale. The new Pumpkin King is like orange. And I remember when the big fight was to get. Oh, that is really, really, really close. The big fight was always to find something that matched Prussia's orange. But now, of course, you can buy Prussia's orange. That way, if you want to make a knockoff, you can make it as genuine as possible.
Because their design's open source anyways. Because people say, oh, people are ripping off Prusa. He's like, he's giving away the designs.
Yeah, it's
and the
open source.
firmware. You can go buy, was it the Rambo board that's in there?
The Einstein,
Yeah.
Einstein Rambo. Uh-huh.
And 3D print the pieces and buy the frame and like assemble it yourself. And, maybe save a couple $100 by cheaping out on some of the stuff, right? Like the cheaper motors and stuff. But
Sorry, I'm answering Facebook Marketplace posts.
get rich or die trying.
I really want to just start doing a weekly segment on what grinds my gears, just about Facebook Marketplace.
I said we should do that.
I sold a van. I actually posted it yesterday and sold it today, which tells me I didn't ask enough for it. But the gentleman who bought it was on a fixed income, and so I gave him a really good discount on it so that he would have a vehicle to get places. That's what you do with a vehicle. But
not if you're Glenn. Sometimes you just leave it on a trailer for years.
right, I have a whole group of cars that just sit out in the yard and don't do anything. But I can't even remember. I can't even remember the last count of how many vehicles I've owned over the years. But so I posted this van. It was a 2005 Kia Sedona. I will never ever own a Kia personally ever, because when it comes to working on them, they are horrid vehicles to work on. I've always accepted the joke, and I've made it since high school that the big manufacturers have a division of people who do nothing but pick where to put things like the oil filter and the radiator petcock to where they're useless. And the radiator petcock on a 2005 Kia Sedona is literally untouchable. When the radiator is in the van and everything is assembled, you cannot touch the petcock, which makes it completely useless. But I digress on that. I posted the van for sale last night on Facebook Marketplace for $1,200. Thought that was a great price for a vehicle that somebody needs to get from point A to point B. It's ugly. The paint was faded on it. It needed tires, but I included a set of used tires with it, but they did need to be mounted. One of the outside door handles on the back door was broken. Just minor issues like that, but it ran fine, started up fine, came with 3/4 of a tank of gasoline. So $1,200. I was then inundated with $500, $600, and $700 for a van that I was asking $1,200 for. I'm a nice guy. I'm generally pretty nice to people, but it got to the point where people were sending me, like, they just write $500. So I'd write back $1,200. Then they would write $600, and I'd write $1,400. I thought that's how you negotiate. No, Chris, I didn't put the word firm on there because I wasn't firm. I always go a little bit higher than what I want, knowing that somebody's going to try to
lowball you.
Yeah, well, the whole thing, you don't ever just, I've bought cars at face value because I felt that that's what they were worth. But, I wanted $1,100 out of it, but $1,000 was kind of the bottom line, which is what I ended up taking. I took $200 off of it. But I just put a brand new radiator in it, a brand new battery. It had a starter put in about a year ago. I don't know. I just did a bunch of little piddly work to it that it needed to get it good enough for somebody else. And then they're like $400. I could call a junk guy and get more than $400 for it. So there's always people, I'll trade you for an ATV or I'll trade you for a jet ski. Oh no, what's even crazier is like when you say like don't want to trade and they offer you a trade, or we'll trade for a pickup truck and they're like, oh, I got a jet ski. It's like, I don't need a jet ski. I need a pickup truck.
Jet ski's like the pickup truck of the sea, except for not at all.
Maybe. So, but I usually put in my ad, we'll trade for cash. Oh, that's the other fun one too. $500 cash today. $1,200 cash today. What other option is there? Are you going to bring me $1,200 worth of bottle caps? It's only cash. There's no other option.
Well, because you get people that are like, I've got the money in hand right now. Like somebody could contact me and be like, oh, we'll make a deal in a week, but I'll take it today for significantly less than you're willing to sell it for.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, the other fun one too. And I've been in the position, but and in fact, it'll kind of tie back to me buying Daisy, but like they'll be like, I really want to buy that, but I don't get paid till Friday. And this is, Saturday or Sunday. And you're like, okay, well, if it's still available, great. Yeah. But like the guy that I bought Daisy from, being 5.5 hours away, I couldn't just drop everything and go get it because I did find it on a Monday.
Yep.
And I said to him, listen, if I pay it, will you hold it for me? And he said, well, it would have to be a non-refundable deposit. And I'm like, well, of course. What other kind of deposit would there be? Like, if I give you a deposit and then I take the deposit back, what was your incentive to hang on to it for me? You know, like, so I did end up PayPaling him a deposit to hold it for the week so that I could go up over the weekend and get it. But when you get people that are like, well, will you hold it for me? No. So I don't know. It's always just, and Priscilla said to me, she's like, that's why I can't sell stuff. I'm just not good at the whole, negotiating and stuff. And I'm like, well, you got to kind of be a jerk. That wasn't the term I used, but I'm like, you just got to kind of be a jerk sometimes. I'll give you $400 for it. Wait, I'm asking $1,200 and you're going to offer me $400? Okay. Well, now I want $1,800 for it.
You'll give me $400. Okay, and when do I get the other $800? Because that's when you get it.
Right. Yeah.
Give me $400 for it now, and then give me $800 for it later, and then you get it.
As long as it's within 3 days. Otherwise, I'm keeping your $400 and selling it to somebody else anyway. So, but no, the gentleman that came to look at it, he had contacted me yesterday, which I'm fairly certain he's not watching this stream now, nor will he ever. He contacted me through Facebook, and it was from an account. We'll say that the name on it was Susan. And so just a couple quick messages back and forth. And then it was the dreaded call me, because for those of you who don't know, I have social anxiety disorder, and it's 99% related around the telephone. When my phone rings, I have an anxiety attack, which is actually why I never have my ringer on. But Karen, it's always Karen. No, the Karen story for sure. So, all right, I want to sell the van. I'm going to make the phone call. So I punch it up, and the phone rings. And when the person answers, I didn't really hear. So like I couldn't say, oh, this is a guy or this is a lady that's answering. So I just said, well, what did I say her name was? Susan? Is Susan there? Or is this Susan? And he goes, oh, no. She's sitting across the room at the table right now. She's just letting me use her email. And I'm thinking, okay, great story, bro. Can I talk to Susan then? Like I didn't really know what was going on. Well, what it was she was letting him use her Facebook account.
Right.
And it took me a few minutes to put that together. And so then come to find out the phone that he's calling, or that I was calling, that we were communicating on, was a home phone, which created problems today because he called me and said, I'm on my way, but he took a long time to get here. But I couldn't even call to check on him because he didn't bring his home phone with him. But he did test drive it, and he wasn't sure. He's like, I just don't know. I'm not 100% sure. And I said, you know what? Then don't do it. I mean, if you're not sure about it, then it's not the vehicle for you. I said, look, I'm not going to pressure you into it, whatever. So then I Snap, did you guys say the one thing yet? I feel like I might have missed it, and that bums me. Yeah, we already said it way early on, man. Did you notice the name of the stream today, James?
I did not. Let me check.
This is the one where we say the thing, where we say that thing.
That one thing, yeah.
Yeah. So I thanked him and whatever, and he got back in the vehicle, the guy that brought him, and I closed my garage door down, and I was kind of waiting to hear if they drove off because I wanted to go out and make sure the van was locked back up, but they didn't leave at first. So I went back into the house, and then I get another phone call, and he said, yeah, I'm still out here. I've decided I want to buy it. And I'm like, great, be right out. So
Return of the Mac. Robin Mac.
Oh, speaking of catchy theme songs.
Oh yeah, we got to do that.
Well, I want to update everybody and let you guys know that I am currently working with the infamous Ryan, the songwriter, and I've kind of dropped the ball, but I will get that back rolling. But we have been in communication. He remembered doing the Xander Sing Thursday theme, so
this one will be heavy metal or death metal, perhaps.
Well, it's kind of funny because I told him that I wanted him, like I didn't want to influence it, that I wanted him to use his and I can never remember the term, his creative, I can't think of what I'm trying to say, but just where he kind of had freedom to do whatever he wanted. And he's like, well, I just need you to what you want. I'm like, oh, I was hoping you'd pick what I wanted. So we'll have to figure out. Death metal would be pretty good, but
yeah.
Chris Lane says he's been doing music again in FL Studio. It's pretty awesome. Chris, I don't ever see you post anything on Twitter. Am I following you on Twitter? And I say that because Twitter sometimes unfollows people, but did you post it through Venturi 3D? Well, I follow you on both accounts, both your personal and the other one. So I don't know. Maybe I just haven't been paying attention. Robbie Mack in the house. John Mack in the house.
Return of the Mac.
It's a lot of Macs, even though they're not spelled the same.
We're having mac and cheese for dinner tonight.
I'm probably having leftover pizza. Oh, what a horrid story that is. Ordered pizza today at 1:00. It took like an hour and 40 minutes to get here.
Better have been the best pizza you've ever had in your life.
It wasn't. It was that same PJ crap that we usually order. I mean, like it was edible when it got here, but
We had pizza for dinner last night. There's a wood oven pizza trailer or pizza. What's the word I'm looking for?
Food truck?
Yep, that opened up near us. So we've had it twice. We ordered 3 pizzas. We ordered 3 large. We had lots of leftovers and stuff, but they're closing soon for the season. And Kay wanted to try a couple of the different ones that they had. I said, well, we'll order a bunch of them. It'll be a treat. So the guy says, I call him. He's like, yeah, it'll be 25 minutes. So I erred on the side of caution, went to pick them up in 25 minutes. So I go up and I'm like, yeah, here to pick up some pizza. He's like, oh, have you ordered yet? I said, yeah, it's for James. He goes, oh, that was the 3 pizzas, right? He goes, you're way early. They're not even in the oven yet. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, he meant 25 minutes after they put them in the oven.
Yeah. So, but like the food is worth it. The wait didn't bother me that much. I was like, oh, I was already in a bad mood because I had to pick something up at the post office yesterday. And I looked up their hours at 1:50 and it's like they close at 2 and they're 3 minutes from the house. So I went and got changed quickly, drove there. I got into line at like 1:57 and the girl looks at me and goes, no, I'm not serving anybody else after the customer in front of you. We're closed. And
Wow.
I'm like, so I quite loudly said, oh, I thought you guys were open until 2:00. And she just glared at me. And like, what am I going to do? I can't force her to serve me. Right. But I go on Facebook to look up the reviews. On Google to go look up the reviews. They've got a 1.8 star rating. So I came home and I told Kay, I'm like, yeah, this is what happened to me at the post office. And she immediately knew who was working behind the counter. She's like, was it this person? I said, yeah, it was. So, and I'm picking up a parcel. It's not even like I'm shipping something or it's going to be a huge inconvenience.
Right.
So
2 seconds and you're out.
Yeah. So, and this particular post office is inside a drugstore. It's
Okay.
one of our chains. So Canada Post and Shoppers Drug Mart in Canada have like a partnership. So almost every Shoppers Drug Mart has a Canada Post in the back of it. So Kay had said, well, while you're there, can you pick up a couple of things? Because you're already going into a store and we've been trying to avoid that.
Right, of course.
So I pick up some stuff. It's like, I think 10 or 12 after 2 now, by the time I finish gathering everything that I need to get. And I walk past the post office and the person that was at the counter when I was there is still at the counter. And the guy that was in line behind them, that was the last person she was going to serve, is still standing, waiting in line.
Wow.
I was like, well, glad to.
It's good to know that your postal system is just as good as ours. Sorry, checking my Facebook Marketplace.
Robbie Mac says maybe he meant the year 2025. Anyways, so I said to the guy, I'm like, take your time. Like, and he was busy. They've been busy nonstop. The first time we ordered pizza from them, it was 2.5 hours.
Holy cow.
Yeah, it's him and I think maybe his wife or whatever. It was just him yesterday, but they're pumping out pizzas and like their small pizza. I think I don't know if it's still there. Their small pizza was $5 originally when they started up. So fully reasonable prices. A large pizza is like $18 to $20 Canadian. So I'm like, take your time. I'm gonna hang out in my car. I'll come back and check on you in like 15 minutes. So I'm texting away. And I guess he yelled that from the trailer because I was parked very close to him, but I didn't hear it. Like the windows are closed and stuff like that. He got all the way to came out of the trailer, walked all the way to the car and started going like this on the hood before I finally looked up. So I look up and he's like, so I'm like, oh, it's pretty bad that you made it all the way to my car before I even realized you're there. He's like, yeah, it's pretty bad.
or that he didn't just bring the pizzas with him.
Well, I hadn't paid for them yet. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
we went where we ate Sunday on the way home, but we've been there one other time. Well, actually, we ate there on the way up and on the way back. Now that I think about it, but it's a place called 1,000 Degree Pizza, and it's apparently a chain. There aren't a ton of them in our area. I don't know nationwide if they're around the nation, but when you go in, like it's. You guys have Subway restaurants up there?
Yeah. We don't talk about since the Jared incident.
Right. Okay. So kind of that same, like it's sneeze screen all the way down.
Yep.
So you walk in and you say like, okay, I want a 10-inch pizza. And they're like, okay. And then they put it down and they're like, which of the sauces do you want? What cheeses do you want on there? What what topping, and you can have as much toppings as you want. So you could be like, okay, I want sausage, and they're like, okay, so that counts as a topping. You pay for that, and they put it on. You're like, nope, I want more. Okay, they'll put it on. Nope, I want more, and they'll put it like
I want this to be more sausage than pizza.
They will load that thing up until it won't cook. But then they take it over, and the pizza oven, it's a dome.
Okay.
What is that? Adobe type pizza oven, but the floor of the pizza oven rotates. So when they put your pizza in, it goes around like this so that they can get the next pizza out. But it cooks it at 1,000 degrees, and when you get down to the end of the line, you're like, yep, okay, that's it. And then they turn to go put that in the oven, and the other guy's like, okay, well, it's $20 or whatever. You pay, you get your cup, you get your napkins, your pizza is done. It is like the closest thing to fast food pizza I have ever seen with a fresh baked pizza. And it's really, really good. So.
And how simple is the process? Because so you're talking about they've got the sneeze guard all the way down, you pick your toppings and stuff. But so like if you go into Domino's, for example, they have glass so you can see them making your pizza. And like I don't know if it's like that there, but here they install these stairs so that kids can get up and watch through the glass as the pizzas are prepared and then put into the oven.
Oh yeah, no, this is just right down the line, like a Subway restaurant.
Right. So all I'm saying is for Domino's to implement that, literally all they have to do is rotate that stage now. Because right now it's all the toppings are still segmented out into these containers, but the person making the pizza is facing the wall. So all they have to do is rotate it by 90 degrees to have the toppings facing people, and they could implement the exact same thing. Which toppings do you want? That.
The biggest difference is and it's I associate it with Subway, because at Subway, if they put green pepper on your sandwich and you're like, nah, I want some more green pepper, they're like, okay, like obviously they won't put more meat on it unless you pay for it, but they'll give you all the vegetables you want. This place will literally give you all the toppings you want. Like I have them build the pizza and then take it back and put more cheese on the top to lock the pizza or the toppings in, and they're like, okay. I mean, the first time we went in there, the guy's like, well, you can have all the toppings you want. And you're like, I was like, really? And he's like, yeah, do you want more? And I'm like, yeah, I want more. And then you eat like 2 pieces of it and you can't eat for 3 days because you're so full.
I can always eat. That's my superpower, obesity. I'm obese. What's your superpower?
I don't know if that counts as a superpower, but
I mean, I always supersize my food, so
yeah. No, we were actually Grisilla and I were talking about it tonight, because like there was a day when I could eat a whole pizza from the PJ's Pizza place, a whole large.
Yeah.
And now I eat 2 pieces and I'm completely disgusted. I mean, full. No, so if you guys like Google, no sponsor, obviously. I just really enjoy the place. If you Google 1,000 Degree Pizza and see if there's one in your area, it's a good experience.
Can you imagine if the show ever gets a permanent sponsor?
Oh my gosh,
I would be through the roof.
Plug people who aren't sponsors.
Yep.
So yeah, we haven't really plugged a sponsor today. I guess the only one was IC3D.
IC3D will be sponsoring a future video. You will have a chance to get your hands on some stuff from IC3D. We're just figuring it all out.
Yeah, we just got to get the details ironed out. They're going to send us some new material. I don't even know what it is. Supposedly it prints fairly easy without an enclosure. So, but then Glenn would have to show up every week. Hey, it's not always me that doesn't show up.
It's true.
Sometimes it's the other guy. So, but
Robbie Mac just called me out for not liking our own stream, and you know what? I haven't. So there, I just made it 19 like he asked.
I didn't even really realize we could do that. Oh, maybe I can't because it's my.
No, you can. You can like your own videos.
Can I?
Yep.
Oh.
You have to open it. You have to open it in a separate window. You can't do it from like YouTube Studio or whatever. But
okay, yeah, no, I just inside of StreamYard, I just tell it show me my video on YouTube. So, but.
I feel bad. So I have several series that I have in mind, and I contacted Robbie Mac last year, probably at this point in the fall, and I said I'm planning to do this. I got him to do some artwork for me, and then I never made the show. It still is in my list of things to do. It's just so I felt so bad because I bothered him for that and haven't done anything with it yet. So I apologize, Robbie Mack.
Yeah, he's good at that stuff.
He is.
Yeah, I should, going back to the whole sponsor thing, I just want to throw a quick shout out, and then, there's so many, but I want to throw a quick shout out today to Duet 3D, because my niece came to visit me today with her boyfriend, and she typically lives in Georgia, but she's currently a student at the University of Florida, Go Gators, and so I got to bring him up and show him the studio, and I was showing him the FK1. And in the process of explaining to him how it automatically levels and all of that stuff, I realized just how amazing the Duet 3D board is. So just wanted to throw that out there. Walter said there's a chain called Blaze Pizza that's the same. I think I've seen Blaze Pizzas, but I've never eaten at one. Do they cook real fast like that?
This is coming from the guy that prefers crystals over White Castle.
Oh, that's a good point. For you guys that couldn't hear that, Xander did chime in and say that is coming from the guy who prefers crystals over White Castle. So there's our White Castle shout out for the week.
I've still never had it.
I said when we drove up to the Panhandle, up to Pensacola Beach, I said, man, the distance that we drove today is half the distance it would have taken us to get to a White Castle. I'm thinking we should have gone the other way, but it's fine because I ended up with Daisy. So
Daisy.
Truck,
Every time you say Daisy, I'm going to do that.
it's the truck built for two because it's a standard cab.
I don't think it could take one right now.
No, I've stood in the cab, but I haven't sat in there yet. It's pretty dirty.
I would imagine since how long has it been sitting outside since it was mangled?
About a year.
So it's had the rain and stuff going through it. And
So when I was looking at the picture, I had sent the guy a message and I said, hey, first of all, if this is still available, please let me know. I have some questions I'd like to ask. And he wrote me back and he's like, yep, it's still available. I'm like, great. So first of all, do you think that with a good quality rubbing compound, I could buff out the damage? And then I said, I asked him, like, did it make contact with the motor anywhere? I asked him if he could lift the hood and take pictures around the engine just to show, so I could see if there was which again, other than busting the water pump off, there was no damage to the engine at all, which is amazing to me. And then the last question I said, could you please do me a favor and roll up the driver's side window so the interior doesn't get wet before I get there? Because the driver's door is completely untouched. And I don't know if you can, you can kind of see in this picture, here's the top of the driver's door and it's perfect. Now this fender got jammed back. I didn't have my mouse on the right screen. This fender got jammed back. So it peeled this door back pretty hard. And then the roof has been removed here and here and from over here. But this door is it's perfect. It didn't get hit at all, but the fender is missing off this side. They sold the fender off the driver's side because it was still straight. Oh man, good times. But getting it up on the trailer, that's the first time I'm on a trailer, which U.S. regulation is 102 inches, is as wide as any vehicle can be, trailer, truck, whatever. So the dually tires are just about as wide as my trailer is. So really, it's only the inner back tires that are on the trailer. So what I did was I flattened the outer back tires. I let all the air out of them so that when it rolled up, it had to roll across. It had to roll across the taillight. The taillight sticks out right here. And so that tire right there had to roll over the cage. It's in a steel cage, but the light still sticks out a little bit, but it rolled over it okay. But the guy that I bought it from, a younger kid,
probably in his early 20s. But typically in a situation like this, they're like, oh, there it is. And then they just don't do anything. He was on it. He was running the steering wheel while I was winching it up. And in fact, at one point I have a remote winch controller for the trailer. And I'm like bzz, 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 running it. And he's turning the wheel and checking the back tires. And I said, I feel like I'm doing all the work here and you're not doing anything. And then it took me an hour to strap it down to the trailer because I'm meticulous about strapping it down. I don't want anybody to die. But yeah, it was good fun. And then the look on Grusilla's face when she got to see it for the first time. Oh. But my plan is to get rid of all the parts off of it that I don't need: the fenders, the hood, the bed, and I have a radiator to put in it temporarily. I'm going to put a water pump on it and a fan so that I can start it up once in a while. And
No, it's important to make sure it doesn't get seized up while you're waiting for the
exercise it once in a while.
Yeah.
So I'll be I'll complete the cutting of the cab so that it's completely cut off level. And get rid of the passenger door. So it'll just be an empty cab and a frame that I'll drive around the yard.
I have an old Yamaha 3-wheeler from back when 3-wheelers were a thing that were being made.
Right, before they started killing everybody.
Yeah. So it's as old as I am. It's a 1984. And it's at my grandparents' or like family cottage. And we don't bother to haul it in and out at the beginning of the seasons or whatever because it's old. There's no electric start on it. There's no reverse on it. It's a pretty basic bike. But every year we go in, and I didn't get to go this year, but every year we go in, put fresh gas in it, and start it up and get it running. And it usually starts second pull. And then end of the visit, we drain whatever gas is in the tank and start it and let it run until it's sucked all the fuel out of the float and everything, and it stalls on its own, and give it a couple pulls to start. So this year my brother goes up because I'm not going to make it, and he's going to put it through, a weekend of usage so that nothing gets, like you're saying, like it gets seized up or whatever. It needs to get exercised. And he brought up a battery because it has a solenoid in it so that you can use electric start with it. But it doesn't, I don't think it recharges the battery. So he puts the new battery on, gets everything connected. And I don't know what happened. I think he bumped the spark plug cable, and the spark plug cable is 36 years old, and it just crumpled.
Oh.
So it'd been running on this rotten cord forever. So he spent a bunch of time trying to get it to make contact and get it up and running or whatever. And it was a lost cause. And it's like a $15 part, but yeah.
But if you don't have one, you don't have one.
Yeah.
It's really funny. Say the brand name again.
Yamaha.
Yeah. So I have cousins and stuff that have been around motorcycles for years and years and years, my entire life. To me, it was always Yamaha.
Yamaha?
And I didn't find out until like a year ago that it's Yamaha.
So you said yaw instead of yeah.
Correct.
Okay, gotcha.
And it's not even a southern thing because I'm from up north, and it was always Yamaha, but it's Yamaha. And it was actually Yamaha representative that said it like that. And I thought, this guy works for a company and doesn't even know how to say it.
And then you're like, wait a second.
But isn't it funny that like in today's times, you can learn things like that? Because, growing up, it was only because I read the name. I never heard anybody say it properly, but again, completely squirrel. That's a little side story for you.
Well, it's like, I used to call it Hyundai. And
Hyundai.
my uncle was a Hyundai dealer, and he's like, no, it's like Sunday, Hyundai, like Sunday.
Yeah, they actually released a commercial here about that it's not Hyundai. They didn't want the word die in there. So
even though that's what that car is really good at doing.
Glenn Hogue wants to know how we pronounce that word, D-R-A-M-A.
Drama?
That's how I say it, drama. I know some people say drama.
Walter says he's working on a machine, and that makes me happy.
Tom said, no, you were right, Glenn. The ads pronounce it up here as Yamaha. Huh. Interesting. Yamahal. And Walter says he's ignoring us.
Yeah, that's classic.
Working on a machine. Yeah, if only you had a Sunday stream where you could work on stuff.
Out in some sort of country. Well, I guess not basement anymore, but fun print time in the basement. Fun times in the basement. No, that sounds inappropriate.
Fun country print.
Everybody unsubscribe from Xander.
He doesn't even care anymore.
That's fair.
He's like, I hate YouTube.
Xander, are you playing video games right now?
Yeah.
You should start playing the game Worm Online. It's like Minecraft, except everything takes forever.
Oh, that sounds entertaining.
So here's the thing.
Forever in Minecraft.
I don't know if I've told this story on the stream before, but I started playing this game called Worm Online back in 2006. One of the creators of Worm Online before he became famous, so is Marcus I always get his last name wrong. Notch from Minecraft.
Okay, Notch, yeah.
Yeah. So Marcus and Rolf were the two creators of Worm Online. If you ever play Worm Online, there's a lot of similarities. It's not block based, but it is tile based, and a lot of the stuff that's in Minecraft is in Worm, but it's more realistic time frames. Like you don't just punch a tree until it falls over. You have to have an axe. You cut it down, then you cut the tree into logs, and then you can cut the logs into planks, and then you can use the planks to build houses and stuff.
Wow, that sounds terribly tedious.
It is, but it's like the farming games and stuff like that. It's the kind of thing where it's like I'm just chatting with people while I'm doing stuff. And the entire thing is written in Java, and it's a fully realized 3D MMO in 2005 written in Java, which is pretty incredible. So I played the game for a bit. They eventually made me a chat moderator, and I was doing like administrative stuff. And so I'd be communicating with the GM team and all that type of stuff. And Marcus Notch left, and he and I were talking beforehand. And he said he had an idea for a project. What?
I think you told me this.
I probably have. He and I were talking beforehand, and he said he was going to work on a new project that he had come up with. And he asked if I had enough development experience that I would go and work on the project with him. He was putting together a team. And this wasn't like a partnership. This is just like he was looking for people to work underneath him and stuff like that. So I'm not saying like it was going 50-50 or whatever. I turned him down. My best friend and I, he talked to both of us. We both turned him down because and he hadn't told us what it was. He just said, I'm going to be going to work on a new game. He was talking about development stuff. So,
wow. Yeah. Well, I mean, he didn't really make any money off of it anyway, so it's fine.
No, he's destitute.
He gave it away. Oh, that's pretty funny. Yeah, I run a Minecraft server here in the house just for us locally, because I hate people. So like it just lets us play together, and because of all the updates that have happened lately, that I needed to start a fresh world to take advantage of all the changes.
Yep.
And so I don't ever delete them. I move,
make new ones.
Yeah, I moved the old world and I let it create a new world, and it spawned me on an island that was probably, what would you say, 15 blocks by 15 blocks? And it was in the middle of the ocean with nothing around it. I could see another island, so I made a boat. There was a couple of trees on the island. I made a boat and I rowed over to that land, and it was also an island, a little bigger, but still an island. And other than that, like going around, there was nothing. I'm like, this is a terrible map. So I deleted it and made another one.
How come you never invite me over to play on your islands?
I never invite you to play on my islands. I actually right now have it blocked from the outside, but I could.
You can come play Worm with me and take 10 times as long to do anything.
Yeah, if I can find a good IT guy, he'll teach me how to open my router up and let you come in.
I've actually had Worm running the entire time we've been streaming, because right now I'm trying to flatten down a bunch of rocks, which involves me just standing on tile and occasionally pushing a button. I should see if I can I capture it? Show everybody what it
you
looks
should
like.
be able to screen capture. If you do screen capture, it'll let you pick what monitor. Years and years ago, like 100 years ago, I used to like to play Sim Tower. And so what I would do is so in the morning before I went to work, I would do what I needed to do, pick up the money or whatever I can't even remember what the tasks were. And then I would leave it run and go to work. And then when I would get out of work, I'd come home, and if it didn't burn down, I would save it and then do what I needed to do. And then I would let it run overnight again. So that thing ran like 24 hours a day for the longest. I had a huge Sim Tower. And once in a while I'd come home and it was burned. So I would just go back to my last save. It's real dark. Let me see if I can full screen you.
Yeah, it's nighttime, and unfortunately, since it's a persistent MMO that's being played with other people, it isn't like Minecraft where you start up your own server and do your own stuff. But this is the village that we're working on right now.
Okay, so and then like you said, this is the village we are working on. Do you know the other people, or is it just?
Oh, so me and a couple of my friends have settled here, and we've basically purchased some land so that it's our dedicated little space on the server. So other people can't come in and touch our stuff. So you'll see here, it says you enter Nexus. So when I leave the perimeter of my village, it'll pop up and say you leave Nexus.
Okay, so other people can't come in and just grief you.
Exactly. Yeah, that's why you end up buying space. And so I've been mining down these rock tiles so that they're flat with what's over here, so that we can build on it. And it's a tedious process.
Yeah, the purpose of the question was like, if I decided I was going to play and I went in there, could I like all of a sudden show up where you guys are and be like, hey, can I hang out with you guys?
Yes.
You know.
Yeah, you could basically, you start in the new town, you could get access to a boat. I think now you can invite somebody to a village remotely, and then they get a one-time teleport to the village, so that you don't have to like navigate your way there. I didn't realize that was a thing. So when I started playing and my friends were not online, I actually spent the like hour and a bit navigating my way here, trying not to get killed. And they're like, "Oh, if we just added you to the town, then you could have just teleported here."
Yep. That's nice. John Mac port forwarding. Yeah, absolutely, buddy. I was only kidding about needing the IT guy. That's me. I intentionally right now have it blocked just so that there's no to it. It's not on a standard port, but
you don't want to risk Xander making extra friends. I understand.
So I had it open for a little while so that one of his friends could come and play on the server. But all of a sudden I noticed that because that server also runs my Plex media server. And so when I looked, I ran a top on the server, and the Minecraft server was just like beating the server down. And I'm like, this isn't good. So I shut it down real fast, thinking something was going on, that somebody from the outside was in there. But it just turned out that it was rogue code. So it's better now.
Rogue Squadron.
Yeah.
Holy, look at that. It's 6 o'clock. I didn't think we were going to make it there with us running out of stories. We ran out of stories an hour ago, but somehow kept going.
You know what I want to start doing? I'm going to have a notepad here, and I'm going to start jotting down the topics that we talk about over the 2 hours. And then like at 5:55, we'll stop and we'll talk about, like, we'll just go down the list. All right, this is what we covered today, guys. I want to see how much 3D printing is really in there.
None.
I mean, we did talk about some of it, but
I mean, I showed off a bunch of my design stuff.
So I talked about the FK1 and how I haven't printed anything, and how I need to print the Caliburn because Xander got a sponsor and then didn't follow through. Now the guys at 3D Fuel don't like him anymore. They keep sending me nasty emails saying that they don't like that Xander kid anymore.
I'll send them an email and say thanks for the extra filament that was passed on to me by Xander. He said that you gave it to him to give away to people. All I had to do is subscribe to his YouTube channel.
No, those guys are awesome over there.
I'd asked them for 2 kilos and they ended up sending us like 5 rolls. They sent us iron red and they sent us, and I can't remember now what it is. I'd have to dig it out. It was like a 3M filament or something, fancy stuff. So
That's way better than the 2M stuff.
yeah.
It's like 33% better, 50% better.
Minnesota Mining and Manufacturing. 3Ms. Sorry, I'm from Minnesota. You know, pride. Woo!
Minnesota.
Minnesota, where we drive on roads and run over toads.
Oh my, that's violent.
Bennett said, "I bet you $5 that Xander's playing Rec Room."
What's Rec Room?
I have some game that Xander plays where it looks like Wii graphics. It's like it's a body and a hand. You don't really have an arm. It's free on Steam.
Is it a VR game or a non-VR game?
Both.
Does he have VR or is he playing non-VR?
No, he's playing non-VR. He's still saving his money to buy a VR set.
He can just have mine, but he's got to come here and pick it up.
Well, Joel posted his for sale on Facebook, and I jumped on it, but somebody else had already called dibs on it. So
I'm not actually trying to get rid of mine, by the way, before Xander gets his hopes up.
Well, and then I showed it to Xander the next morning, and I'm like, and he's like, "No, that's not as good as the one I want." And I'm like, "Okay," because he was only asking like $225 for it. So, but
we actually decided before the show that we wouldn't talk about politics or religion on stream. So
yeah, James jokingly said to me tonight, "Should we talk about politics?" I said, "Oh no, politics and religion." So.
Yep.
No, that's never good for anybody. People take it entirely too passionately. So that's why we don't ever go there. It's just not worth it. And you know, of course, I have opinions on everything, so it's hard for me to not share them.
Yep.
But no, that's an area that we don't need to get into. But and I know you're joking, so it's all cool. So. But no, it's now 6:05, which means that we have made up the time that we started late.
Yep, we're not overachieving; we're just achieving.
That's it. You've had us now for 2 hours, 1 minute and 55 seconds. So that's all you get. We're at 34 currently watching. We were up almost to 50 at one point, so that's pretty awesome. That's what we like to see. I've asked you guys a bazillion times to please bring a friend, and you don't, which tells me you guys don't have any friends. So it's okay. I don't really have any either, other than you guys. So that's okay. I did actually post this to Facebook this time. I'm going to start trying to the Fun King 3D group. For those who aren't on Twitter, if you are on Facebook, you can follow Fun King 3D on Facebook. I will start posting the link to the streams there, and I put in there, bet you won't share this, because I hate those posts on Facebook. You know, I bet I won't even get 3 shares, and I'm like, not from me, you won't.
If I had the ability, I'd take away one of the shares you've already got.
That's right. Yeah, I would tell everybody they were stupid for sharing it. But no, I am going to start putting that on Facebook, and if anybody wanted to take it upon themselves to, I don't know, promote those streams in some of the 3D printing groups, that would be awesome. That way I'm not self-promoting, because most of the groups don't like that. I know I could probably get by posting it in the friendly 3D printing group, but I don't. Was it on Maker Club? I don't know what Maker Club is. See, that's because I don't have any friends. Yeah. So, Josh is streaming tonight at 8. If you have a link, I don't know if you can print links. Chris is now a moderator, because he should be a moderator. So, no offense to anybody that's not a moderator, you know, it's just the way it is.
It's not cool enough.
What's that? Right. Nobody else should be moderators. Where was I going? See, it's the whole ADD thing. Oh yeah, we were saying goodbye.
We were, in fact, saying goodbye.
You have anything that you want to plug or anything, James?
From now till the end of the year, it's basically just my Pi 26 Ways thing. So if you're subscribed to me and you're watching my videos, thank you. If you're doing neither of those things, then, well, peace be with you.
And again, next Sunday, James will not be joining us.
We're going to try and sneak in an extra stream at some point this week. If we
I
can.
can only take so much of him at a time, so we have to spread it out. No, we will, and of course, we'll keep you guys posted both through the Twitters and through the Fun King 3D Facebook page. But we'll try to slip one in. It really just depends on my energy level at the end of the day. I'm on like a crap ton of multivitamin and stuff to fight all of this anemia stuff. But some nights, seriously, by like dinner time, I'm ready to just go to bed for the day. So, but we will try to get that. We will try to get that slid in there. But I'm planning on streaming Sunday anyway. It will likely be my wife and I. I don't know what the topic is going to be or how we're going to format. She suggested having a whole conversation about wives that put up with 3D printing. But
here's the twist. She starts off by saying, I will no longer be one of those wives that puts up with 3D printing.
Right. Knock, knock. Who's there? Not me anymore.
Knock, knock. Who's there? My lawyer. What?
That actually came from a Dilbert cartoon years ago. They were trying to figure out how to fire somebody, and the boss said, "Oh, you use. I like to use humor when terminating people. Knock, knock. Who's there? Not you anymore." So, but Thomas, the 3D printing, like saying, I don't want all that power. So, but yeah, that's kind of it. That's going on for right now. The new Maker Box is here. We will be producing that video soon. We were going to do it today, but it was really a crazy, crazy day around this household with family visiting and trying to sell a van on Facebook. She can't put up with you 3D printing. You don't 3D print anything. Well, that was actually what I said to her. I'm like, I don't really do it anymore anyway. And she's like, I know. I wish you'd go back to it.
Leave me alone.
yeah, stop bothering me. And no, we've spent a lot of time together lately. We've been watching The Blacklist, completely hooked on that show. We are
sorry, go ahead.
Well, we're on the 7th season, which is the last season that's available as of now. The 8th season does not start until November of this year. So
I have not heard of or watched that show. It's good though.
The Blacklist. Oh yeah. I mean, like, it's somewhat predictable. It's almost a game for Gracilla and I. Will be like, oh, it's going to be so and so, because there's always those hidden catches, and all of a sudden, like, oh my gosh, that's the killer,
Yep.
But yeah, it's been really good.
Kay and I have been watching. We're watching Doom Patrol right now, which we watched probably half of the first season before, and then stopped watching for some reason.
You're watching what?
Doom Patrol.
Oh,
it's a DC thing. I think it's on Prime. It stars Brendan Fraser, of all people.
Oh, interesting.
And it's like a low tier superhero group where it's like basically like the Misfits and stuff like that, and Cyborg's in it for some reason, which I think is one of the more mainstream ones. And we're also watching Nosferatu, which is NOS, the number 4, the letter A, and then the number 2.
Interesting.
It's got Zachary Quinto in it. I quite like Zachary Quinto. Been watching him since what was that show, Heroes?
Bennett said Umbrella Academy is really good. I know that Xander and Priscilla were watching that. I don't know if they're still continuing that, but
Kay and I started to watch the first season again. There's a couple of shows I think it just came down to time. Like we went through a period where we weren't watching anything because we had too much going on, and then to come back to what we didn't finish,
Feeling through the fall, you're gonna have plenty of time. I have a feeling there's not gonna be much TV because of stupid Corona, but yeah, I just learned about, and I don't know how I didn't know about it before, but Tacoma FD, which is the guys from Super Troopers.
Yeah.
And I obtained a few of those episodes and watched. I've only watched one episode so far. It's something that I would watch. It is definitely not something my wife would watch. So, Robbie Mack said Dark is good. Man, how do they keep roping us into going longer and longer? It's now 2
You let it
hours,
happen.
9 minutes, and 30. We really got to go. So, why don't you guys have all this good input during the show? Is it because we're so entertaining you can't get a word in edgewise?
And now they just don't want it to end.
Yeah, they're like, no, don't go. Wait, let me show you what I can do. I don't know if anybody will get that reference. That was Mad TV. No, so that's it. Hopefully you guys will see us sometime through the week for an impromptu stream. If not, you will likely see at least myself, if not myself and my wife on Sunday, unless I get a better offer. Chris Lane says he's going to start banning people if the show keeps going. Please start with me. Otherwise, that's
Print on.
that's pretty much it for us. Thank you guys. Thank each and every one of you guys for being here. Because like I say every week, it'd be senseless to do these streams if it wasn't for you guys. Missed you guys. Glad that you showed back up. Glad
I missed this guy over here.
Yeah, well, this guy over here.
There you go.
Yeah, I can't.
See, I practiced before the show.
I can't wait until the corona goes away and we can all be back in the same room together.
Still getting each other sick.
Yeah, without. But I'll
Contract.
take that sickness over what this one is. So, but other than that, that's all you get out of us. This is the point where I click over to the to the brands and play a little video. But of course, before then, as always, until next time,
Print on.